So you can't get Sacramento and you can't get San Francisco, Oakland.
Well, there are websites that will tell you what towers are where and what how far away they are and what range you can get
And let me put it this way:
and where you need
I'm
to
going to
point
use
things.
cable anyway.
Well, Brian, you
Yeah,
already paid money for an antenna and then you return it. You have that money back. Uh,
yeah.
personally, if you own the structure you're putting the antenna in, don't waste your time with rabbit ears. Get up on the roof or in the attic.
I just don't think it's even worth it.
Well, you know what? There was a time I would have agreed with you, but the
Yeah.
amount of content and the amount of sub channels that are out there now over the air, there's a lot of content you can get them for free with an antenna. Now that said, there's a lot of restreaming services that restream. That's like, for example, I think I used to talk about how much I like watching Buzzer, which is like a free game show network you get over the air if one of your networks carries it as a sub channel. You can stream Buzzer on Freevee now. So really,
Yeah, of
it's
course, I get tons of free stuff on my Roku box.
right.
Or if you had a Fire Stick, you get the same thing.
Have you installed the Freevee app?
The what?
The Freevee app.
No,
Freevee. Freevee.
no.
Oh, install that app.
On what device?
Uh, Roku, Fire Stick,
Oh, okay,
whatever. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Check it out. There's a
Also,
lot of
Tubi is totally free,
yeah.
and I have watched some stuff on Tubi.
I call it
Tubi.
I call it Tubby.
It could be Tubby.
No, it's
Yeah,
Tubi. That's why I call it Tubby.
it could be Tubby though.
It could be
I'm,
Tubby. No, it's Tubi. As in TV tube, Tubi.
yeah. Well, that's kind of where I was going with it, but I think
Speaking
Tubby is funny
s-
version.
speaking of TVs, I can now safely say to everyone that for quite a while I was using as my network password for work a variation of the word Zenith. And the reason I can say that is because I now am no longer using a variation of the word Zenith as my password, nor will I ever do that again. And why is that, you may ask?
Why is that?
Because, well, when I work, I have my laptop over on the shelf over there, and I'm
Yeah.
controlling my desktop. And I open a remote connection to the laptop. And so at any point in the day, if I minimize that window and I step away for 5 minutes and I come back, I click the remote connection and it brings up this screen for me to type in my password. So pretty much I just see like a little bit of that like image and reflex. I just start typing in Zenith with its numbers and letters and a bunch of extra characters and hit enter to unlock my session. So today I do that and the computer lagged out and it briefly showed me an unlock screen, but then it was already unlocked. And as I finished typing in my variation of the word Zenith and hit enter, the screen came up and showed me it was already unlocked, and the active window was Microsoft Teams, which had brought up the chat window for the all company meeting that had finished 15 minutes ago. And so I basically typed my network password to a chat window that went to the entire company from the CEO on
Yay!
down to the new person that started today. And
Hey, Sparky.
hello, Sparky. And when you're sitting at your computer and you see a random word misspelled with numbers with a bunch of special characters at the end of it come into a chat window, you immediately know that guy done fucked up. And Sparky says, "Good job, Johnny." And so immediately, one of the BSAs sends me a message. Hey, did you mean to type that in that window? My boss sends me a message saying, "Hey, you typed that in the all company." The head of IT. Hey, Johnny, did you mean to do that? The head of security. Hey, Johnny, that was the all company chat. Change your password now. and,
That's funny.
and mind you, this happened 30 seconds before my Teams company call starts to introduce myself to today's new hire and explain to him how to use his laptop. The new hire that I'm meeting today, who
Yeah.
was also in that meeting, and so he saw this happen, is a new senior security person.
Oh, right.
So, hi, nice to meet you. I just sent you my password. You're going to be working in
Exactly.
security, are you? You're going to need to keep an eye on me.
Well, one of the first companies I worked for, this is the mid 80s. So security was kind of new.
Lax.
Well, they're still trying to figure it out.
Right.
And we had the security guy. I'm going to go with they brought him there because they didn't know what else to do with him. Anyway, his last name was Hacker.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That is
that's
a win right there.
And this was a facility where one of the guys in IT put a modem on the classified network so he could apparently work at home or let some Soviet spies get into the system.
Well, it's dual purpose.
It's kind of unknown.
Everyone's a winner.
They did search his house after the second offense.
Did they send the FBI to his basement
some
to
classified tapes at his house?
Well, we got all that and more here on
Insert title here.
And I told you we'd all be talking about raiding places to find classified informations, and we got that story out of the way early on, and I don't know what you
Exactly. Yeah,
so,
see?
So we don't
That
need to
crap
talk about
happened.
any other classified raids. We'll find other ways to piss people off. And boy, do I have a doozy for you.
Okay. So this is on the same line, but there was no raid.
Okay.
I knew a guy that was the tail gunner on a B-52.
Okay.
And
they were a good band.
Yeah, good. And he took the documents and how it worked to his home.
I think that's frowned upon.
Highly frowned upon.
I don't know much about classified documents, but off the top of my head, I would say that would fall under the category of things not to do. But I'm not an expert on those types of. Anyways.
I'm not sure that he told anybody. Well, other than his close.
Well, he
friends.
told someone found out because you found out.
Well, he told me. But on the other hand, he didn't have the documents to show me.
Oh, Dune's listening.
Hey, Dune.
Effing TPS reports. Was it in the bathroom? With a shit ton of deleted classified top secret emails or smashed Blackberries. And
the
Steven,
TPS reports. That's awesome.
That's the best line there. Stephen St. Peter wrote it. Oh, hey, Gators. Been busy here with my electric car group. 825 members now. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Wow.
We have 3 chargers in operation and heavy usage. How many solar panels? I'm just hoping. I'm hoping because that's where it needs to go. Because the electric car is great, but the electricity comes from somewhere. That's the big. That's the big thing.
I mean, the best thing to do would be to have solar panels. And in fact, when I got my solar panels, I said, okay, let's leave some space. So if I get an electric or a rechargeable car,
I called it.
I could do that. But I still don't have one. And the inverter they put on doesn't have room for extra solar panels.
Yeah.
So there was a communication gap between what the salesman promised and what they installed.
Now, Steven St. Pierre wrote back in, they got 40 solar panels set up for this charging station. So that's awesome. I called it. I knew
Nice.
You put a charging station in, you got to get the solar panels up to go with that to,
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course the next question is, well, how much energy went into the production of those solar panels? Shut up, fuck you.
Woohoo!
That's the correct response to that. There, I did it so you don't have to. But that's that's very good actually. Actually, it's what I really liked was I don't know if you watch 8-Bit Guy on YouTube.
No,
Um,
I don't.
no, he's a guy in Texas that collects vintage computers. Apparently, there's quite a vintage computer crowd community
Hmm.
out in the Fort Worth, Dallas area of Texas. But I guess that's an area where a lot of those companies were or are, or what Compaq was based out of there,
Yeah.
HP and or I don't every there's been a lot of computer presence
Well,
in that area.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So there's a lot of community of people into the vintage computer scene out there, and 8-Bit Guy is one of them, and he's got a very successful YouTube channel. Um, one of the things is that he was really impacted by that blizzard that came through that knocked out power, knocked them out of their house, and then the pipes burst while they were bunkering down with family members, flooded his whole place out. And so he like revisited his backup plans and alternate plans and whatever. And
Yeah, I would think.
he ended up putting in some solar panels, but he did it himself, I think with the help of a friend or whatever. He didn't buy a system that would tap into the grid. He set up his own solar panel arrays, and it was tapped in a way that he could basically set a few rooms to be switched over to just be run by the solar panels or to be switched over to the grid. And that way, if the power went out, he could just go to solar panel mode and be able to run heat and some utilities from a few of his rooms in an area and kind of have a section of the house that still was off grid with power. And then in the summer, he could just use that to run his air conditioning units to cut down on his power consumption. And I was like, whoa, that is really cool. Gives you way more control over the thing you set up. Now, I mean, the downside of that is I got a solar panel array that pulls in more than I can use at a time and sells it back, and I build up a credit. But that the thing is, the power goes out, I'm out of luck.
So one of his videos is rare pet style VIC 20 restoration.
Yeah, he does a lot of vintage computer restorations and then demonstrates them. Yeah, you check. You're
Yeah.
Well, we know what Brian's doing tonight.
Yeah. I'm how the Apple One computer works.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite channels there. But anyways, that's not what we came here to talk about. I have to tell this story just because I'm just going to tell the facts. Tell the facts as they are, as it happened, because I just had a very weird situation happen today, and I got called a Trump supporter. Yeah, that was Kristen's reaction.
Really?
Really?
Let's see. Do you still have on your profile? Does it still say something like?
Well, I didn't get called that through social media. I got called that through work, actually.
Yeah, proudly following. That's right. You changed it. It used to say proudly blocking. Whatever.
Yeah. But I decided, you know what? I think we should talk up what we're for instead of talking up what we're against. And I.
Well, I agree. In fact, a lot of times when some guy says, "Oh, gas prices up because of Biden," okay, if that's what you think.
Well,
But what are you going to do about it?
That is a good. I have noticed you've been doing a lot of that lately, retorting to people. What are you going to do about it? What's your plan? What are you going to do? Of course, a lot of these people could probably.
It's just like their healthcare plan, right? Yeah. There is none. Okay,
well, it's not
changing the topic. We're done, right?
That's not why I brought this up.
Yeah.
So here's what happened. Being that part of my day-to-day job is ensuring that everyone's got a working laptop. So that means if we get a new hire and onboarding, I got to send them a new laptop. I got to make sure.
So not a VIC 20.
Not a VIC 20. No, it was not a VIC 20. It was a Microsoft Surface laptop that we're trying to get back from this person. So someone was onboarded. She was sent a Microsoft Surface laptop. She lives not near here, so was entirely 100% remote. And I shipped her the laptop. She got the laptop. She signed on to it. She worked for us for a few months. And then I don't know. I don't, and that's the thing. I don't know what happened with the separation. I don't know if it was on good terms or on bad terms, and I don't care. But
Not your problem, right?
sometimes I kind of want to know, because that might help explain how things could possibly go hostile. So I don't know, but so then I sent her a few emails. Hey, I need to get that laptop. Could if you have the original box, let me know. I can generate a label for you to print. If you don't, I can ship you an empty box with a return label in it. All you have to do is put the label on the box and drop it off at one of hundreds of places that accept UPS packages. Because let me tell you, you don't have to go to a UPS store to drop off a UPS package. Any business that has UPS stopping at them usually have themselves labeled as a drop-off. I can go to the car parts store down the street, the place that sold me the shit batteries. They'll take a UPS package from me.
Do you think they'll actually pass it on to UPS, though?
I don't think they remember me. The only guy who I insulted never saw my face. So, yeah. They might, the name might come up in their system, though. They might run the...
Okay. So at what point do you say that person isn't going to isn't going to respond to me, so I'll just tell HR?
Well, if there
let
was
them
no
deal with it.
If this person wasn't responding to me, this would be a pretty boring story where that doesn't resort to name calling. So, but that's not how this story unfolds.
Name calling.
Well,
who would be calling names? Who?
Well, like
could
I
it call
said,
you? Oh, this person called you the Trumper?
No.
No.
I believe the technical term was Mr. Trump supporter 2024 was the salutation. Well, that was the which the thing is that only works as an insult if you think the person doesn't support the guy. So does this person just think that she's angrily yelling something at someone that they don't take as an insult? I see your Watchmen, but let's one story at a time here.
I'm letting other people see it.
So it's basically at some point she said, I don't have the box. Go ahead, send me the box. Send me the return label.
Oh, there's more.
So I send her the box and the return label. And then nothing happens. And so I send an email like, hey, what's going on? She's like, oh, did that arrive? Let me check the mail room. And I'm like, mail room? She gave me a residential address. There's no mail room. She's like, I can't find it. There's no. What address did you send it to?
Could it be an apartment?
No, it's not. And I know this because Google Maps let me stalk the place out once you start talking about mail room.
Okay, and
there's no mailroom at the. So mind you, she asks me, what address did you send it to? As if I may have sent it to the wrong address. Mind you, she sent this to me on the same email chain that you could still scroll through all the previous emails, whereas if she just scrolled 2 mouse wheels worth, it would have gotten to the point where she posted me the address.
Yes. Right,
but not everyone scrolls back and reviews the history of their email chain when they have questions, even if they like. So I copy and pasted back to her the address that you gave me. And I pasted. Is this the correct address? No response. So I a few days later, now mind you, this is over the course of a few weeks at this point. Yeah. So a few days later, I'm like, I just want to follow up on this. Was this the right address that you sent me? Blah. You referenced a mailroom, but that looks like a residential address. Are you someplace? And she's like, I'm traveling. I'm not at home right now. Could you arrange UPS to pick it up, and I'll have a friend drop it off with them when they come pick it up? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Where are you? Yeah, okay. So I hate doing this because every time I've done this, it doesn't work. But one of the options when you generate a return with UPS is that you could have UPS have a driver come with the return label and take the package and put the label on the package, and they will make 3 attempts to pick it up. I have tried this multiple times. I have never had a successful handoff as a result of this. they're never home at the right time, or I didn't hear anyone there. No one ever came. I just found the slip on my door. What do I do with this? No one knows what to do. Have we raised a generation of degenerates that don't know how to pick up a damn phone? I don't get it.
Or let me talk to this friend that's going to help in this situation, and I'll make arrangements with that person.
So the tracking information has relayed to me that UPS has tried twice and was met with no response, and they're going to try a third time. So today, she sends me an email. I am back home. So now she's home. I found a slip on the door from UPS. They have said that I should leave the package outside on the door for collection for their third attempt. That doesn't seem safe. Do you want to give UPS a call and have them, try to schedule another pickup? And
she doesn't have the phone number on that UPS slip?
Well, she even referenced that they left a phone number she can call on the slip. So I replied back and I said, look, they've tried twice. They're probably going to try a third time. But you might want to follow the instructions on the slip and give them a call. They're your local UPS people. You know your schedule. I'm not trying to get out of doing something. It's just that what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
How am I a middleman in this? And so she's like, oh, but they only tried once. I'll just wait until they come again. I'm like, and at this point, I received an email from UPS letting me know their third attempt is done. And the package has been marked as delivered. And I think what they mean by delivered is we left a slip on the door. Our part is done. Ball in her court. You're welcome. So I reply back. I'm like, look I just got notification from UPS. They've tried 3 times. It hasn't happened. And I'm not blaming her for this, but I'm also not specifically saying I don't blame her for this. So she may be starting to take some, she might be starting to feel like I'm blaming her when UPS didn't knock on her door. It's like, dude, we all hate UPS. I mean, there's a reason why I have a 5-hour loop of their hold music, which we should bring up right now, shouldn't we? I don't have many opportunities to use this, but this is
play it.
Where did I put that file now? Now I need to find it. Here we go. This is what I'm going to get to listen to tomorrow for however long it takes me to sort out this mess. But it's going to be a huge package delivery. It's going to be a beautiful package delivery. The biggest, most beautiful package delivery you've ever seen. And I don't think that that's necessarily a negative betrayal. That's just how it is. Now, Dune is confused. People who bash Trump supporters are the most kind, tolerant. I don't think I've ever said that. But okay. You must have just mansplained it and offended her. Well, here's the thing. So I kind of explained, look, my tracking information says they tried 3 times and they're done. We're going to need to arrange something else. And I said, wait, you're back home. You have the original, return label that I included in the box. Why don't you just put that return label on the box and go drop it off any place that accepts UPS packages?
Okay, does she have the box?
She does.
And does she have the label?
Yes, because you know what? Yes, she does.
She has everything she needs.
So that's when I said, forget the pickup. Just go drop it off someplace. And that's when, now mind you, this person worked for us remotely for a number of months. I've been dealing with trying to get this package back for a number of months. And now she goes, oh, I can't get the package out somewhere. I'm disabled. And I had nothing to respond to that because part of me really wanted to say, I don't think that's generally a thing that people stand behind as an excuse. I mean, you're playing that like a card. Like,
So,
nope.
but
Like,
all she has to
people
do,
get
though,
places all the time. They do it. She's worked
she
jobs.
also could call UPS and have them come and pick it up, right?
Right. So I went back to that. I'm like, okay, call the number on the slip, arrange a pickup. Like I said, they were only here once. I'll just leave it out. And I'm like, I'm telling you what the tracking says. Call UPS. Follow the instructions on there.
And here's the phone number that you gave me.
So it turned into her like, but this, but that, but this, and me like, call them. And so at some point she replied back and said, "You sound like a Trump supporter." And I'm like, what? That's right. What do you say? And then she replied back and said, "P.S. Mr. Trump supporter 2024. Here's a picture of the thing they left on my door saying to leave it out for pickup." And I'm like, okay, look at you. Now, Dune writes in, so let me be sure I have this. The same dude that caps lock and yells at UPS for not being able to do anything right is quoting UPS tracking to another person. Are we caught up now? And you are absolutely right, Dune. UPS is fucking this up every step of the way. And whether or not the tracking information is correct, and whether or not the slip is correct, the next move is to call UPS and figure out how to straighten it up. Put that down. I'm not done. Now, the thing that kind of blows my mind.
Hang on, just a second.
Okay.
Hum a few bars along with the music here.
Boom, boom, boom. Now, here's the thing, is that I was a little bewildered at the nature of the insult, because it started me thinking that really only works as an insult if you actually think the person isn't supporting that candidate and that you're saying something that they would find offensive. Because I wouldn't find the comment offensive if I was. So I'm like, is she saying she doesn't think I am, or am I overthinking this? It's just a very bizarre way to insult someone, is what I was getting at. And Dune,
are you still humming?
Yeah, and Dune, you're right. That is a very intolerant insult to go to. I would never insult someone that way, and I don't think one could pin that style of insult to any particular. But there is a lot.
Play the cat game.
Well, I still don't have the cat game. It's a one-player game, and Brian sitting here watching me play a cat game isn't exactly good radio. Now the squirrel game looks really good, but that hasn't come out yet. I see. The Watchman was just a ploy to get me to send you for Cheerios.
Well, you didn't like my first prop. No,
I like it. It's just like let's
And then if that second one didn't go, then
oh, it's got the maze on the back. Oh, you got the honey nut.
Honey nut, man.
All right. Anyways, that's all I've got. I try to collect a laptop. I get insulted in a political nature out of nowhere.
Yeah, right. Well, at least you weren't called Karen.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. It's hard to tell if someone's being serious or sarcastic, because I replied back to the effect of, basically, when someone gets angry, that puts me in customer service mode. I'm not going to respond to that. I'm not going to respond to the anger. I'm going to stop. I'm going to breathe. And I'm going to think about this. Except for you, Brian. I will tell you the fuck off right now.
Right, exactly. I don't know if you can read that.
Caution for batteries.
No, the other side. Oops, sorry. I have to hold it steadier. Okay, caution.
Caution, don't stop on the tracks. No, do not remove screw. See back notice. Okay, all right.
Oh. Then, for battery operation,
See instruction manual.
read the fucking manual? RTFM?
Yeah, that's pretty much what they're saying.
But
Anyways.
you know, this doesn't have a manual. I have to. That's probably long gone.
You have to
In
go
fact,
on eBay.
like, okay, so like, where's the?
Well,
I don't have the battery charger either.
let me just tell the end of this, okay? So,
okay. Go ahead and tell the end of this.
So I took the
I'm
breath.
going to be dancing with the box.
Why don't you start counting?
Go ahead.
So I put on the customer service hat and I wrote back and I said, thank you for sending that image of the slip. Look, I'm just telling you what I see on the tracking information. Clearly, we are both displeased with UPS. There's no reason we need to be displeased with each other. Clearly, you've been inconvenienced quite a bit over this matter. Let me give UPS a call tomorrow and see what I can do. So basically, I caved. I basically caved is what I did, but I did send a very polite.
Well, you do have a main goal to go for, right? Get the laptop back, right?
Right, but she's clearly like, I almost feel like that she's just trying to give me the runaround to get me to give up so she can keep it. But I can't prove that.
Well, I mean, at some point, if you give up, you just call HR. Like, you know what? I've been trying to
Right.
get this
Like
laptop
I'm
from
at
this
I'm
person,
on
so-
the end, but I didn't want to leave it on a negative note, especially since he sent 2 emails throwing a something at me that she intended as an insult. And that's where I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna walk away from that.
You're not falling for that.
I'm gonna respond to that, but I'm gonna respond to that politely to kind of put it in its place. That like, look it, the beef ain't with us. Like, dude, it's not me, it's not you. But between you and me, I think I saw that guy in the brown shorts wearing a red shirt, a red hat. I think those are the guys we. That's kidding. I kid, and I goofed it even. So I can't even. Anyways.
Okay, I'm gonna click on this program, see what the ad is.
Now Sparky says, wait, I missed the beginning. Why is Jerry trying to get a laptop back? Did she quit? I don't know if she quit or was fired, and I never know that. So. But yeah, she no longer is under our employ. Anyways, so she wrote back, thank you, you are a gentleman and a scholar. Is that...
Well, so what she's saying is she's not a Trump supporter.
I think someone that calls someone that as an insult is by default not. She basically let the world know that she does, and that's fine for her. That's fine for, support who you want to support. Maybe I don't know. I don't care. That wasn't the point of this story. I wasn't going to get into those issues. Just going to make my quick little red hat joke and get right on out of there. But dude says, did you just say it's not you, it's me? No, I said it's not you, it's them. It's them. It's the UPS guys with the brown shorts and the red hat, the brown hats. So anyways, she called me a gentleman and a scholar in her last response to me when I did the de-escalation. And the problem I have is that usually that's a compliment, but sometimes it's said sarcastically. So it's like, is she...
Gentleman and a scholar.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, if she knew you, right?
So I don't know if she was like saying that as like, I acknowledge your de-escalation and thank you for your kindness, or if she's like, yeah, whatever, Mr. Gentleman. I mean, it's like, how did I think it's I smooth it over. but I Googled it, and sometimes it could be used sarcastically. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's subtle sarcasm. It could very well could be. Yeah.
OX64 writes in, I missed some girl talking on the show. No, I'm talking about someone that I'm trying to collect a laptop back for. She was not on the show. She will never be on the show. She called me a supporter of a certain political leader. Dude writes in that you're a gentleman and a scholar equals you're a man and I schooled you. I did not detect any undertones of being accused of mansplaining from her. But like I said, it's going to be a huge UPS delivery. It's going to be the biggest, most beautiful UPS pickup you ever seen. And sorry, I don't have many opportunities to do that. Huge, yes. Can we throw in a Bigley somewhere there?
Bigley. Oh yeah.
Bigley. That's another good one.
Bigley. Yeah.
Bigley. But anyways, if Mars were here, he'd be drinking Kofifi.
Yeah.
There we go. Now, Sparky writes in, Johnny will have to give us an update on this. I would talk to HR and have them hold her last. No, actually,
that could be passed. Yeah.
A, that's passed. B, you can't do that in Massachusetts.
You probably can't do that in most places.
In many states, when you end employment, you are required to part with last anything owed paid.
Right.
Then and there. And your accounting department probably has a printer with blank checks in a locked cabinet next to it, ready to go, just for that scenario. So no, there's, because we have talked about, because it is an issue. The issue is that the whole, like, we send people $2,000 laptops, and I'm rounding up. We send people $2,000 worth of computer equipment, basically, and it's all honor system that they're going to send it back, and we have no recourse. The only thing
you could sue them, but you're not going to sue anybody over $2,000.
No, exactly. So yeah, it's but anyways, that's that story. So let's see your TV. You got a bigger screen than mine. You got the now you bought this yourself, or was this a gift? What's the history?
No. This was at my sister-in-law's house in some box, and her sister said, "Hey, look," and she just gave it to me. Take that home. Okay.
What did she want you to do with it?
She didn't care. Recycle it.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do with it?
I don't know. I am going. I'm thinking of. I haven't done it yet. Get the stuff, because it'll take an external antenna. Get the stuff to plug my Wii into it. I think that's the only thing that I have that has an RCA out. The
an RF or
no, it has
RCA?
The Wii has
composite.
The composite out. Thank you. So I get the adapters to plug it into the external antenna. But I'm going to throw some batteries in it first to see if I get static.
All right. Well, do you have batteries handy to test this live on the air?
Okay, it appears to be C batteries.
C batteries?
Yeah, that looks like C batteries, right?
No, that looks like AA.
No. It's pretty big.
All right, well, let's see what you got.
But since you threw doubt in...
Now, OX64 says we should just get the FBI to raid and get the laptop back. I don't think that laptop...
Yeah!
I guess if we lie and say that the laptop's holding nuclear secrets, we could justify that. But,
yeah!
That's all we're going to say. OX64 is also distracted by the TV. Sparky Toast says corporate stupidly once again. Just hand people laptops with no paperwork signed to have power to get them back. There goes your raise, Johnny. Well, actually, we're having a lot of conversation about putting a written policy in place and having people sign it. But even if we do that, it's not enforceable.
That's not going to help. That's not going to help.
Well,
Yeah.
it helps. It helps like it helps. It's more of a mental exercise to make people think there may be consequences.
Right. So every time you buy something and they have this, or upgrade some software, there's this. Shit. I'm looking for batteries while I'm talking and saying shit.
Yeah.
I need 4. I have 2. Damn it.
Okay. So Brian's going to look for the batteries. And,
Not anymore.
And, oh, by the way, I did hear from
batteries.
I heard from Mars. He is out this week because apparently he's got a free dinner with the boss.
Sweet.
So that how
can
I compete?
I didn't realize that he was actually working.
Well, either that or married. I'm not sure which, but
that would be a bigger surprise. No, I didn't say that.
Free dinner with the boss. She's picking up the check.
Maybe my next headphones will be USB-C, so I don't have to figure out which way it goes in. Okay, since the Sony Watchman deal is over, we're done with the music, so I just have to hold it there.
Wait, I thought you were going to put batteries in it.
I only have 2 AA's. It takes 4. I mean,
so it
C's, senor, C's.
Are you sure it takes the C's?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the hole is way bigger than
we'll pop
AA.
one of the C's in there and show us.
Okay.
That looked like
unplug again.
I thought you were gonna verify it's the right size.
Well, I knew it was the right size. Actually, I grabbed 2 because that'll fill up the slot.
Maybe it looks smaller over the internet. I'm guessing is
right.
What's going on here.
It's actually huge.
It's the biggest portable TV, the hugest portable TV, and we're gonna.
Okay, so.
All right, so there's that. Okay.
Slots.
I get they look
1 AA.
Oh, that's that's C. You said.
I mean C.
Oh.
C, senor.
Oh, that stacks up 2 C batteries. That's what threw me off with the ratio.
Yeah, and then there's another slot for another 2.
Oh, okay. I thought it was. Yeah, I when we had it zoomed out, I thought it was smaller than it was, and that it was just 2 AA's. That's okay. Yeah, my apologies for.
Yeah,
okay.
And it's not like those 2 stacked up are parallel.
Yeah.
Because I push the power button and it still doesn't come on.
Yeah.
And the AC adapter is for 6 volts, which would be 4 batteries.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sparky Toaster writes in, I will ship my pants if Brian turns that on and Fox News comes on.
Actually, one of the stations that could match... Oh, there is an internal antenna.
Yeah. And it has a connection for an external antenna or a RCA?
External antenna, yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, then you need
and it's a like a headphone jack, although it's mono, I'm sure. Eighth inch. And I verified that. I plugged in actually a headphone jack, a stereo headphone jack, and it fits in there.
Mine doesn't have.
Now that I got full screen.
Well, okay. You know what? I do have to, and this is just for you and Sparky and your Cheerios. I remember when I was trying to make ghosts on last week's show, in The Sims.
Oh yeah.
Well, I continued playing that house. And so what I was going to try to do was basically start with an elderly married couple. That way they could have sex too much, overexert themselves. One of them would die, and that the other one would invite them back to the house. And since they used to be married, they'd be close enough that you can invite them back to the house. Well, it turns out there was a small flaw with my plan. Just because you create new characters that are married doesn't mean that they'll keep making noises on their microphone. Okay.
I can't look at this while it's on my head.
Okay. Well, we're going to.
Wow, wouldn't that have been brilliant if I muted it first?
That.
That would be like some kind of a professional.
So
we are amateurs.
So it turns out if you create new characters in The Sims and you create them to be a married couple, they don't by default have a maxed out friendship meter. So I basically created an elderly couple that were not friends with each other and didn't like each other all that much. But they were willing to have sex with each other over and over again until they died, because that's what married couples do. Anyways, so the what was it? The old lady died, and when she came back as a ghost, she wasn't good enough friends with the old man to invite her back to the household. So I basically tried to keep playing long enough that whenever she would periodically visit from her urn, that she would befriend the old man, and eventually the old man be able to invite her back to the household. And then at that point, I would try to get her to kill the old man by having too much sex with him, and then invite him back as a ghost. Well, the problem is that the old man was a bit of a crab and cranky and difficult to be friends with. So the old man died of old age before I was able to invite the old lady back to the house.
But now he's a ghost.
Well, now the thing is that neither of them are members of the household, and now the house was just a vacant house with 2 urns in it. So there was nothing for me to play. So I had to create a new character and move her into the house, which came free with 2 urns that were possessed by ghosts of the former owners.
Yeah.
So that's just like,
is that at all creepy? Of course it is.
Does that happen in real life? Yeah, sometimes it does. So that is what I set up. And so for the past week, I've been playing this household. I created a young adult who's a redhead who is named Laurel Banning, and I had her pursue the criminal career. So she likes to be mischievous and mean to people. She picks fights a lot. And she befriended the old lady to the point that they actually built a romantic relationship and got married. So now the old lady is married to Laurel. And eventually the old man became friends with them, and I invited him back to the house. So now I've got Laurel, the old man's named Chester, the old lady's named Madeline, and the 3 of them are in the house. And they were living the good life. And I decided I'm going to try to build them up to the point of having what they need to, without cheating, cook ambrosia to bring them back to life. And I also had the old lady pursue a writing career. So she maxed out all her writing career, and now she can write a book of life that will bring people back to life. But you can only write a book of life for someone that's still alive, and you can only write it for someone else. So I can use that because on Thanksgiving, Laurel died of laughter. And I'm not quite sure how that happened or why that happened. But I'm playing the game, and the next thing I know, Laurel is dying of laughter, and the Grim Reaper comes and collects her. And so here we are in the house now. Here's the old man Chester, who is a ghost, who is sleeping in a bed by himself now. He used to be married to Madeline here, but they got divorced, and Madeline is now remarried to Laurel. And here's Laurel, who is going to sleep. And she's also hungry, and she's also a top ace chef, which means that she should have the ability to cook ambrosia once she gets all the ingredients we need. And Chester is a top ace gardener. We've built a greenhouse over here, and so far we've got him growing pomegranate trees, and we got over here lilies and snapdragons, because if you splice a lily and a snapdragon, you get an orchid. So over here we have some orchids that we're growing that we got off of the splice plants here. And now if you splice orchid with pomegranate, they will grow the flower of death, which is one of the ingredients to make an ambrosia that will bring the dead back to life. So we have that in the works.
So Sparky, which one?
Anyways, what I could do right now is I could show you that here in Madeline's personal inventory, she has a book of life for Laurel.
Were you intending to share your screen, or did you forget that?
I did forget that.
Why? Oh, you wanted to see these.
All right, sorry. So to recap, here's Chester sleeping in his own bed because he is now divorced from Madeline, who is roaming around out at night, which is weird because she's usually scared of the dark. But
she's a ghost? Or
yeah, she's a ghost. And now Laurel is a ghost because she became a ghost a few days ago when she died of laughter on Thanksgiving. And like I said, over here is the greenhouse where I am working on growing flowers of death that could be used as part of the ingredient to cook an ambrosia that will bring the dead back to life.
Right.
So we got, and I'm working on Madeline's fishing abilities because we also need to catch an angelfish, which also is part of that ambrosia.
Yeah.
So we are getting there. But I can bring Laurel back to life anytime I want to, because I have over here in Madeline's inventory, she has written a book of life and imprinted Laurel's memory on there. So now if I put that book out on the shelf here, we can wake Laurel up and we can say, hey, Laurel, take a look at this book and restore your life. So Laurel is going to go dilly-dally. Come on, Laurel. Come on. All right, here she goes. She's going to go float around, and she is going to read a book of life. She decided not to. All right, let's try this again. Restore life. Come on, Laurel. You can do this. Meanwhile, the old lady's going to go and possess a stand here. All right, so Laurel read the book, and now she's resurrecting. Although now she's walking down the stairs. This game is very buggy and very glitchy. And so she didn't resurrect. I found that sometimes it doesn't work. And because she used the book disappeared. So now we got to basically close and not save the game and try that again. Way to go, EA Sports. We'll fix this in post, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's
Oh, I worked for a company that had some office space in a different building from the corporate office.
Right.
And in that other space where of all this rented space, Electronics Arts was in actually it was in a neighboring building.
Oh, okay.
And they had a cafeteria, and since we didn't have one, we'd go there once in a while.
I see.
And they'd have boxes of their products all over the place.
So, free copy of The Sims if you help yourself?
Well, there were probably empty boxes.
Oh,
they weren't giving anything away.
All right, so let's try this again.
In fact, if they ever give anything away,
we're going to take Madeline's Book of Life with Laurel's life imprinted on it, and we're going to leave it here on the shelf. And now we are going to wake up Laurel, who is in a playful mood right now, and we're going to have her restore life from the book here. And third time's the charm, I think. But there we go. She's getting ready to come down the stairs. I think what happened was that she finished reading the book and then decided to use the stairs at the same time the resurrection was supposed to happen. And so that like canceled it out or something like that. I will
Can't do
say
two things at once, right?
The Sims 4 is very glitchy and very buggy. And it's kind of annoying how
I think it's been out for
unprofessional.
quite a while. You think they would have fixed it by now?
You'd think they would have, but oh, here it goes. It's happening. And the book disappears. So now I have to have the old lady here write another book for her, just to make sure that we leave ourselves. Oh, here we go. Capture epic saga of Laurel Banning, and now we have a new book of life for Laurel Banning the next time she dies. So I could keep bringing Laurel Banning back from the dead over and over again as long as I continue to keep Madeline here writing books of lives to capture their epic saga every time I bring him back. All right, she's doing it. She's but I can't use a book of life to bring Chester back to life because he died before Madeline got the ability to write these books, and you can only write these books for people who are alive. And you can't write one.
Can he use the ambrosia?
Yes, he can, but we haven't finished growing the ambrosia.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you're working on that.
But we can take a look here and let's do some gardening. Let's see if we have any death flowers.
Don't go through there with your rocket car.
No, I guess we wouldn't want to do that. So let's see what we could do. Oh, let's harvest everything because we got a lot of plants to harvest, and let's see what he harvests. And we also want to keep these plants healthy. We got a few more pomegranate trees that haven't quite bloomed, that are looking pretty sickly. So that's not been working out. It's been pretty hard. And these are apple and cherry trees that I spliced to one another because it's from splicing apple and cherry trees that you get pomegranates in this game.
Oh, okay. Not persimmons.
No.
Good.
And you splice snapdragons and lilies to get orchids, and then you splice orchids and pomegranates to get flower of death, which is one of the ingredients we need to make ambrosia.
You know what a persimmon is?
It looks like a tomato. It tastes like kind of like a sweet carrot. Yeah.
I just call it the ugliest tomato you ever saw.
Well, yeah. But we got 2 death flowers out of that harvest. So I have got my first. I have got my first 2 death flowers. How many do you need
to do the recipe?
I need 1 per recipe.
Okay. So you can make 2 batches in case one fails.
Yes. Although usually I'll make one and save the game and use it, and if it fails, I'll close out the game. Because the other thing that you need 3 things: an angelfish, which I haven't caught one yet, and it's winter and all the water is frozen over. So I need to wait for things to thaw out before.
They don't do any ice fishing there?
No, they don't.
Stupid flaw in the game.
I need to wait for things to thaw out, and get Madeline.
Go to the ocean and fish there. It doesn't freeze.
So you need 3 ingredients: angelfish, death flower, and a potion of youth, which could be bought for 1,500 of these aspiration points. Every time you do something that you want to do, it gives you some of these points, and they build up. And as you can see, so far Chester has nearly 10,000 points. Laurel has over 10,000 points. Madeline has 12,750 points. So they both have enough points to buy several of these things. So this is a completely... So yeah, I just need to wait for the thaw and get Madeline out to do some fishing and hope that she starts catching some angelfish. And then I need...
Well, time actually runs faster there, right?
Right.
Before you know it, it'll be summer.
Right. So, and I also want Chester to plant at least one of those death flowers because I want to start maintaining death flower bushes so I can keep a regular supply of death flowers coming in.
Are those sellable?
No, but yes, they are. But I'm going to keep them for myself to have a never-ending supply of an essential ingredient for life. Yeah. That is not easy. It took a lot of effort to get that first death flower. I don't want to have to do this all again.
So you use one and you sell one.
No, I use one and I plant one. or I plant both of them to stand a chance. Basically, I'm going to plant them to keep a never-ending supply of death flowers coming in. They're not worth that much.
Okay, all right, okay.
Death flowers aren't worth that much. They don't sell for that much.
Okay.
Not to mention, Madeline is a prolific author that has royalties rolling in. Look it, my family's worth 82,000 simoleons. That's pretty good for The Sims. So, and the money's just rolling in from all her books that she's published through her writing career. Now, unfortunately,
does the money roll in on bags?
No, it's just digitally transferred. I don't know what this thing is, but I bought it just because Madeline has an aspiration to keep owning new things. So every now and then she nags me to buy something that's worth a lot of money. So I bought
So
this.
she's a hoarder.
Yeah. She likes her possessions. We still have our Christmas decorations up because Christmas was, I think, yesterday in the game, actually. And so I need to take those down at some point. So, yeah, that is...
But you got to wait for the wise men to show up. That should be a law.
The Santa-like character showed up and gave him presents. Laurel is getting jealous, I think. They're getting flirty. Anytime someone is flirty with someone else in front of you, that you're in a relationship with, it makes you jealous. And mind you, the two of them used to be married, so there's still some desire for them to flirt with each other. So every now and then I get this situation come up where now flirty spouse, Laurel's spouse is flirting with another, and so now she's all pissy, and oh heck, Madeline doesn't even feel bad about it. Usually,
but she didn't even come. But she just came back to life, right?
Laurel just came back to life, but she's still married to Madeline. You know what's funny? If two people who are alive are married and one of them dies, it ends the marriage. But if a ghost is married to a live person and a live person dies, it doesn't end their marriage. So Madeline and Laurel are still married even though Laurel died and has come back to life. Because see, if I bring this up, yeah, they're still married. And she died from overexertion. So anyways, that's what's going on. Now the thing is, I don't think I'm going to save this because I think I still want to play with Laurel as a ghost some more. So I'm going to close this out without saving and play this more this week. But that's what happened this week. And this week, man, did I keep this love triangle going. Because like I said, the two of them were married. They died, so death did them part. Madeline befriended Laurel as a ghost. They also built up a romantic relationship and became sex partners. And then Laurel invited her to join the house. She moved in. And then they befriended Chester. And Chester came back in. But Laurel and the old lady had such a strong relationship, I got them engaged and married to each other. And they were married for a while. But then they got tired of each other. But then, actually, they got married before Chester joined the household. Because then I had Madeline befriend Chester to join him back to the household, and they became very flirty with each other. And so she invited him back to the household. They celebrated by having sex, and then she had the desire to dump Laurel. So I went through with that and had her divorce and leave Laurel, and had them get married. And then I had them get divorced, and I had her get back in a relationship with Laurel and remarry Laurel. And then Laurel died, so I had the two of them get in a relationship again and become boyfriend-girlfriend and have sex. And then when Laurel came back, I found out, oh my God, she's still married to Laurel, but now she's boyfriend and girlfriend with Chester. And so that made so I had them, so they broke up. And now she's back to just being married to Laurel, and Chester's just friends.
So you know what this really explains?
Yeah.
Totally explains it. This is why you like soap operas.
No, this is why I like Sims.
Well, because they're like soap operas.
Yes,
right?
You're both right.
Me and myself? Well, we have to get another thing that I'm right about, then it's me, myself, and I.
Anyways, so let's see if we can get them to... Now, mind you, because they broke up, their romance meter is red which red is bad. Red is anger. You want that meter to be pink. So they are very much not romantically interested in each other, even though they still keep trying to flirt with each other. And I think there's some weirdness to Sims relationships. But Chester went to work, and now Madeline's home alone. And Madeline keeps getting bitchy about her job, which she doesn't need this job anymore. I could just have her quit her job and just keep getting the royalties for the book she's already published. But if she gets promoted enough, she gets like a free thing added to our inventory, which basically lets you buy a door that looks like a bookshelf, which I think would be cool to have a room in the house that's opened by bookshelf. So I may as well try to get those last few promotions and push her through her career to get that.
So it would be like a secret passage.
Yeah.
Right?
And Laurel here is almost complete her aspiration. The last thing she needs to check off is witness the death of a sim. And so I figure once I bring Chester back to life with Ambrosia, I will have Madeline write a book of life for him. I will have Laurel cheat on Madeline with Chester, have Madeline walk in and catch them. They'll get divorced. She'll build up a relationship with Chester. And
so
then
there's no murder in this.
And then she will kill Chester by having sex with him too much. And overexerting him. And then she'll watch him die from this overexertion, and that will check off the witness the death of a sim, and she'll finish that aspiration. That's my grand plan. So that is
wow. Has anybody ever been convicted
of death by
murder
snoo-snoo?
For... yeah. You got it.
Now OX64 writes in, "This is worse than Days of Our Lives soap opera."
Yeah. And that's why we're going to this.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's the Sims update. So
complicated.
Yeah, no, it is. Here's the thing: I built this house strictly to serve a functional purpose of to make ghosts and show how to make ghosts on last week's stream, and it turned into something completely different that I ended up getting sucked into and playing for the whole week. I haven't even visited the Johnny Gators family in the past week, so I've totally gotten absorbed into this family, and
maybe the Gators family's dead now.
Oh, no, they're still alive because I have them saved on a separate map, so their time hasn't been moving while I do this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're in a completely different copy of the neighborhood, so they're still saved in time when I want to go back and revisit them. But I almost kind of got bored with that, and creating Laurel Banning was great. I didn't. I mean, it was just a joke to take the name of a soap opera character and throw her in the house just to keep the house active so I could try to bring the two ghosts back into it. And it turned into this 3-member household. And then she became a ghost, which completely surprised me. And I ended up just running with that. That was cool. So that's my simming for the week. Now,
eventually you'll have a house full of ghosts.
Yeah, well, I do have a house full of ghosts.
I mean, all of them would be ghosts.
Well, right now they all are ghosts.
I didn't
save the resurrection, so Laurel's back to being a ghost. I didn't save that, so I have to go back and basically I'm going to go back and have Chester harvest the death flowers and wait for the weather to warm and send Madeline out on a fishing expedition to try to get some angelfish. And not to mention, fish also makes good fertilizer. So I need to get some good fish to keep fertilizing so I can plant one of those death flowers and try to get a thriving death flower bush to keep a regular source of death flowers incoming so I could just keep them alive forever. Because that's the point I'll get to. I'll get to a point where I can bring them back to life and I can perpetually keep bringing them back to life if I want to. Or I could let them just keep being ghosts. And since I've built up friendships between all of them, if they die and become a ghost, it's pretty easy to invite them back to the household.
Now, are there limits on the number of people that can live in a house?
8.
Okay. And theoretically, you could have 8 ghosts.
Yes, because ghosts are just
Can
characters
ghosts
that.
work in the greenhouse?
Yes,
Oh,
that's
shoot.
that's why Chester's building the growing everything in the
What's the
greenhouse.
advantage of being I mean not dead?
Well,
Or disadvantage of being dead?
I think the advantage is that people can call you on your phone, or that could be a disadvantage. Like I think if you're friends with a ghost, they don't show up in your contact list on your phone, so that you can call them or invite them places. So it makes it a little
Ah,
difficult to maintain a relationship, especially if you're playing a family that lives in a different house from the ghost.
yeah.
But other than that, ghosts are
Is there a
pretty
method
much.
of summoning a ghost?
No, not really. I mean, once you invite a ghost to the household, they're just a playable character, just like they were alive, except that they can periodically possess objects and seem to like to do that for amusement. Because as you
Okay.
saw, while I'm playing there, every now and then one of them just start making a piece of furniture float up and down by possessing it,
Okay.
and they just. But the annoying thing is, if a ghost gets angry, they'll possess something and break it,
Ah.
and
Okay.
and,
I
and they
got to
like
take
to
a
do that.
pee break.
Okay, all right. So Brian's going to go take a pee break, and while he does that, um, yeah. So that's kind of all I had planned today. Well, I guess I could talk about. Um, I talked about it yesterday. How I decided to work on the house a little bit more this past weekend, and it did not go well. But we're gonna have to tell Brian about that because I don't know if Brian has seen the picture I tweeted or not. Ooh, yawn. Um. So, anyways, anyone out there chatting and have any questions? Um. Sparky says, "Keep talking, Johnny. More holes. Yeah. I put 2 holes in my stairs. I was trying to get in the wall, but I ended up in my stairs. Is well the you know what? I'm gonna have to draw it. I'm gonna have to draw it is what I'm gonna have to do. So I'll start the drawing now, and then we can explain it to Brian when he gets here. Because the problem is that the stairwell between the first floor and the second floor is right above the stairwell from the basement to the first floor. So underneath the stairs is basically a slanted ceiling for that stairwell. So it's not just an open, and apparently the bracing for that goes into the walls, which adds more obstructions that get in the way of trying to run a damn wire from the basement up to the light switch. Now Sparky says measure tape goof. No, it was basically the problem is right below the wall is a beam. So it's one of those things that if you're going to drill a hole into the wall, you have to drill at an angle at that point and get the angle right and get into the wall. Unfortunately, that and it basically that section of the basement ceiling is a mess. And I already have a hole that goes to the space between the outside of the wall on the other side of the stairwell and the cabinet. And so I cheated last time and I brought the power wires that run to the light switch at the bottom of the stairs. They came upstairs outside the wall behind the cabinet. And then I cut a hole in the cabinet. And from there, I drilled a hole into the wall and I stuffed the wire into the wall at that point. And then I pulled it up to the light switch from within the wall. So I basically had this wire that was coming up behind the cabinet that was out and exposed behind the cabinet. Well, it's a wire. It's a Romex wire. It was only up for a few inches and it went to the wall. I don't even know if technically that's like a code violation of any kind. It's just something that would probably bother someone if they saw it, that this power line comes up behind the cabinet outside of the wall.
Oh, so that Romex wire is exposed.
Right, it's exposed, but
Yeah.
it's behind a cabinet, so it's
Yeah.
really not even that exposed. But if you look,
Oh, yeah.
if you look at the
So
gap,
you really don't notice it, as it were.
right? But well, here's the thing: I have a list of things that are things that need to be done before I sell the house. Now, I'm not looking to sell the house today. I'm not looking to sell the house this year.
Well, you always consider that, right?
But that's a list you don't want to have when the time comes to sell the house. So now
Absolutely.
is the time to worry about that list, not next year.
So,
If
other
yeah,
question.
yeah.
Have you searched the basement for an urn?
The basement was empty when I moved in. There were no urns.
Maybe there's no. Is there any secret hole passages or secret
No,
compartments?
no.
What if you came across an urn in your basement? What would you do?
Uh, I'd examine it and look for a plate with some description or name.
And then,
I'd Google the name,
and then,
try to track down a relative to give the urn to.
ha, yeah, yeah, because maybe they hid it in the basement and forgot to get it when they left.
Someone, whoever had it, doesn't have it now, but if there's another relative, they may want that, or to at least take care of it properly. So I would, it
Right,
is what it is. It's a vessel that holds remains, and
right.
there are ways that you treat those. So I would get it into the right hands and out of my basement.
Or what you could do is go to the park, look both ways, and scatter the ashes.
I don't know if that person wanted to be scattered in the park. Person might have hated the park.
The person's dead. I don't think they're going to care.
But that's a job for the relative.
Yeah.
I
Oh, anyway, so big problem. I only have 2C batteries, but look what I found.
You found a lantern. Is it propane? No,
Oh,
it's
it's LED
electric.
lights.
Ah, it only looks old.
Yeah. Studio ceiling off. Oh, computer. Studio ceiling off. Computer. Studio lights off.
There we go. Oh, you're looking for ghosts.
Actually, I'm looking for batteries. So, guess what size batteries are in here?
D cell. No, I didn't say diesel.
Bingo, D cells.
Ah.
Damn, plot is foiled again, or whatever.
Well, that was a good thought, but unfortunately,
Yeah, D cells. Oh well, it was worth the effort.
so
Computer, studio lights on. Computer, studio ceiling on.
so Sparky wants to know, what is it you're trying to improve on? How does it work now, and how do you want it to work? Well, what I wanted to improve on was basically I have my list of things that need to be done before I sell the house. Most of them involve sanding and getting dust all over the place. And I'm like, I don't want to kick up dust. If I'm going to do that, I want to do as much of that as I can at one time. And I was not looking to spend hours doing a bunch of sanding and making the place be a disaster with dust everywhere. So I'm like, that's a job for a Saturday. So I have a Saturday and Sunday to, sand, more spackle if I need to, and then Sunday more sanding and hopefully painting.
Because you're patching up holes, basically, right?
Right. I still
Yeah.
have some holes that have been patched that need some smoothing and some touch up work.
All
And some
right, you're doing
painting.
this room by room, right? You finish one room, then you paint it.
Well, I'm not going to paint the whole room. I got touch up paint that matches the rest. Hopefully.
Oh, okay. So you know how to feather in the new paint.
I've tried to. It usually dries a little. Here's the weird thing: the touch-up paint goes on lighter than the paint than the existing paint, but it dries darker than the existing paint.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
And when you're done and it's dried, does it match 100%? 95%?
It doesn't.
30%?
It matches enough that you don't see it out of the corner of your eye, but you notice it if you look at it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, have you mastered? Now, is the main wall, is that textured?
Well, there's many different walls, and some of them are
Well, I mean,
plaster.
let's just take a typical one of the typical rooms. Is there a texture in that room?
Some of the
And
rooms,
were you able to match the texture?
well, yes and no. Some of the rooms have drywall, which is pretty easy to deal with. Some of the rooms have plaster walls, which do have a slight texture to it, but not so much that patching it with drywall makes it really stand out as different. Now, the difficult thing is some of the rooms have paneling over the walls, and so that is annoying because not only can I not patch that easily, because then a patch only it leaves an indentation where I need paneling, but then also the paneling has like grooves in it and whatever. But I kind of faked a patch there for part of that. But
Now, what
it's
tool did you cut that hole
um,
in the
uh,
paneling?
an oscillating tool,
Okay.
so a saw.
Yeah.
But
And it's a fairly thin blade, so you pop that piece back in, and it's
yeah.
not so bad.
Now Sparky says, yeah, you're kind of screwed with paneling. Well, there are some spots that have already been patched that had the paneling, but the paneling was all painted over, and so basically, I what I did was I had a small spot that I had to patch, and I basically put a patch in there, made it as flush as I could, and use some spackling to kind of even it out, and then I even like in the semi-dry spackling kind of continued on the line between the parts of the paneling,
Okay.
and
Yeah. So
so
you're not trying to come up with a wood grain.
no, it's not
Yeah.
wood grain.
Okay. So that's not so bad.
If there was wood grain paneling, that's been painted over years ago. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, so it was painted over. So
How many layers do you think
I don't know.
of paint?
I don't know. Don't care.
Okay.
I'd like to get back to. So what I was trying. So I decided, sanding, spackling, another weekend. What can I do today? A quick, easy job on a Sunday afternoon. And I'm like, well, that wire that is coming, that is feeding the light switch to the stairwell light should not be outside of the wall behind the cabinet like that. That's going to bother someone if they see it. I really need to fix that someday. If I work a drill from the basement enough, I should be able to get a hole into the wall and feed it up the wall and get that done today. So I got the wires down out into the basement. I actually took it out because I had that light tied into the same circuit that powers the washing machine outlet and the one of the kitchen counter outlets, which really it was just the nearest box. And I'm like, well, I've put in a light circuit for the downstairs since then that is equidistant from there. So I'm going to take it out of that box and then seal that box back up and close that up. And now the stairwell light isn't tied into anything, so I don't need to leave anything off to work on this until I need to tie it back into something. So all I need to do is get my wires run in place, and then I can turn off the one of the downstairs light circuits and tie it into that junction box, and then turn that back on. Easy peasy, right?
Yeah.
Wrong. So I got
no. It's easy.
so
You just said it was.
well. The problem is that if I take a paint document here, and we're just gonna pull this up and use this as a whiteboard, to demonstrate.
Go to full screen.
All right. Here we go. We'll share that. So we got a let's see, we got my brush. Let's make that all right. So we got a stairwell here, right? So stairs are here. Da 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 da.
Beautiful. Freehand. Look at that.
And over here
You could have done better with an Etch-a-Sketch.
So over here is where I want my light switch to go. So wire needs to run up in this wall. Well, over here is a door to the basement. And then the basement has stairs under that stairwell. And so above this stairwell is a ceiling that runs like this.
Yeah.
So you got all the supports for the ceiling, you got all the supports for these stairs, and they don't end at the wall. They go into the wall. So I've got all these fucking obstructions over here preventing me from running a damn wire right up there.
Is the wall like concrete?
No, well, actually, I reached a point where, because I've been doing this from the other side in the basement, and there's a beam right under here on that part of the basement past these stairs.
Ah.
And so I
So
got
you went totally 3D on us.
So I need to drill a hole at an angle to get in the wall. And even when I get in the wall, then there's all this garbage over here blocking me from going any further up. And I can't get at that from an angle. So at some point I had a flexible drill bit that I was trying to angle in there and then turn and get it to go straight up. And I drilled 2 holes into my stairs.
Sweet.
So,
oh, that's not what you intended.
Yeah. I actually tweeted a picture of that yesterday. So allow me to.
Yeah. Share that picture.
Yeah. Let's break that out right now, and all right. Let me come back over here, and we're gonna share screen window over there. So if you could see, you see there's a blue box there. But actually, I need to zoom in more on this. Let's see if it will let me zoom in. No, it won't. Of course not. There we go.
The picture on. Oh, cool.
See the drill bit up there?
Oh.
Now, if I were trying to drill a hole right at the edge of the stair like that, never in a million years would I have hit it so perfectly. But that is so. Luckily, no one was coming down the stairs at the time.
That could have been a surprise.
That would have been a surprise. Yeah. Now, of course, at some point, I tried to drill down by putting this flexible drill bit into the wall and angling it down and pushing down till I got to the obstructions that are around over here, and it caught something and it broke off of the drill. So this drill bit is now entombed inside of this wall, and I can't pull it up to unwedge it to get it out of the wall.
Suck.
So basically, I'm gonna have to. I am going to take my oscillating tool. I'm going to cut a straight line here, and I'm going to cut a long, skinny path and just cut that out and do what I need to do to get in there so I could get my drill bit out, so I could actually put it in there in a nice, plenty of room to work with, and have plenty of room to just drill a straight down hole through all this garbage that's in here, like Fort fucking Knox, keeping me from getting a damn wire through here.
Your tool, you're going to cut the stair?
No, I'm going to cut the wall.
Cut the wall. Okay.
Cut
just
the
wanted
wall.
to confirm.
I'm going to cut a long rectangular spot in this wall.
Yeah.
Mind you, I cut this open before to get the half-assed wire in there. So actually, you're looking at one of my patches that I have.
Does that power some half-assed audio equipment?
What?
Your half-assed wire.
No, it's to the light switch for the stairwell.
Oh, okay. So it's half-assed wire to power a half-assed light switch.
Yes. Now, originally, the light switch was completely powered from the attic, and there was just a wire that runs from the upstairs switch down that wall, through the floor, above the stairs, and then down this. So there was never a wire that came up here from the basement in the past. But when I redid that, to do it properly and have a neutral in every box, I'd have to run more wires, and it was easier to power it from the basement and then source it from the other one up at the attic.
Even this box?
Even that box. So it just made more sense to run a wire from the basement this time around. Now there is the old wire still exists that runs between the two switches, but the old wire is completely different types of wire in either box. So at some point, one wire splices into another wire in the wall or in the floor, and I don't know where or when or how that happens. So reusing that wire really isn't a good option. And even then, if the only way I could reuse that wire is if I ran it the way it was running a three-way before, which was basically using a three-way wire with no neutral between the two light boxes, which I guess I could call that grandfathered and just tie it into what's in the attic now and say that I only updated the attic. I didn't update those light switches, but that wouldn't be the right way to do it, and I already disconnected those wires. So yeah, that sucks.
You didn't pull those bad wires out, though.
No, because they're tacked in place. If I could have pulled the wire out, I would have attached a new wire and used it to pull a new wire through. But it was not pulling.
What? The solution is easy. Just make more holes in the wall.
Yeah. Now Sparky writes in, dark stain, easy to fix. Yeah, exactly. I just basically need to cork my holes, not with literal cork, and dark stain them, and that'll, easy peasy. I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm gonna tear that. So I'm not gonna do that this upcoming weekend. Because I'll be traveling to the shore this weekend. Oh, by the way, Dune, I'm not going to be around this Sunday.
Oh no, Dune, are you still there? Did you hear that?
I'll text you or something.
Okay.
I meant to mention that on the show yesterday, and I forgot to.
Oh boy.
And the following weekend, if the weather's good, I won't be around for that either. Sparky writes in wood filler. I was just gonna find some kind of a dowel that's graduated on the end, or make it graduate on the end, and just kind of and saw and sand and stain. But you know what? I'm going to Google wood filler. I'm going to watch YouTube videos. I'm going to see how the professionals do it.
What's the diameter of that hole? I mean, it's the size of the drill, right?
Yeah, and I forget the size of that bit.
Half-inch-ish?
Half-inch-ish.
Smaller?
3/4 maybe. I forget.
Okay.
That flexible drill bit, that's my second flexible drill bit like that.
Uh-oh, you roasted another one?
The first one I completely wore out in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Probably half-inch. I think it is half-inch, actually. It was on clearance, because after I messed up the first flexible bit and the need came up, they really can come in handy if you don't tear things up using them. They can really come in handy. And so I went to buy.
Although I have never owned one.
Yeah. Well, I went to Lowe's because what I was going to buy, instead of just buying another flexible drill bit, I was going to buy a flexible adapter that you could put your own drill bit into on the end. And the guy talked me out of it. He said, well, the problem is that the thing that holds the drill bit is bigger than the drill bit you're putting in there, and you got to be sure that you have a big enough room to fit that. You're only going to get as far as your drill bit. Whereas
I have this big long drill bit extender.
Right.
But yeah, it's way bigger than the diameter of the bit.
Right. So once you drill,
unless you're using even a bigger bit that has a shoulder.
So he said, hey, we got some things on clearance. And sure enough, on clearance was one that was a good enough size that was going to work for what I needed and was way cheaper than the thing I was looking to buy and wasn't going to have all the problems that this. So that guy he got the Gators thanks and appreciation for all that. Yeah, that was...
wow, in retail you found somebody that gave a shit.
Yeah. Well, when you work retail and give a shit, you're bound to encounter someone else out in the wild someday and have karma, And then sometimes you run into a person that will fight you every step of the way trying to return a laptop and start lobbing insults at you.
That's right.
That then resulted in me insulting my friends by telling the story. So
Right. But Dune is still with us, right?
uh,
Oh, we really can't tell.
he hasn't said anything in a while.
Actually, do you think Dune was working when we were on the show
I
with
don't
him?
know. He actually did. Well, the thing is I think that it is a valid sore topic. How much hate people who support a certain candidate get, and
Yeah,
I'll totally agree that the level
yeah.
of hate towards the people that support him is completely unwarranted and only
Well,
fuels the
what gets
fire.
me is okay. So Andrew
Yeah.
Young decided to form his own party called the Forward Party.
Oh, at Yang?
Yeah,
Is that
Andrew
Yang?
Yang.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't really hear anything. Well, he does makes a few statements. It's kind of unclear what his positions are, but he gets a lot of hate. I don't know why.
Well,
I don't know why people hate him.
well, the thing is that anyone that's gonna and this is the problem with a winner takes all political system is that
Yeah,
when you get a third party in that doesn't stand a chance but
yeah.
has
Well, he's a
principles.
deal breaker. Yeah, right.
Well, he's looking at the big picture. He wants to get out there and do something and build something. And anyone on any side of the aisle
Sure.
that feels strongly about something and feels like they can't get what they need in their own party, that they need to start up a new movement, good for them, kudos to them. But the problem is that they end up making things more difficult for the side that they're more aligned with, because now if they actually get on ballots, they split that vote. And that is why I prefer a ranked choice voting, so that you don't have spoilers and it
Yeah, but
encourages more
eventually you got a
people.
loser. Eventually you get a loser.
Right, but he's not spoiling. Basically, if Andrew Yang forms a
Yeah, he
third
would be. He would be.
no, because if Andrew Yang forms a
No,
third.
the
Let me
perception was.
talk.
Is this a monogram? I thought we were having a conversation.
You said he would still spoil it, that he'd still be a spoiler. So I was trying to address that
That's the
comment.
view that people would think of him as a spoiler.
Well, let me
They would look
explain.
at him like
Let
Ross
me
Perot.
explain. Let me explain. Can I
Sure.
finish? Can I finish? Can I
Yeah,
finish? Can I
finish.
finish?
Yeah, go
Can I
ahead.
finish? Can I finish? Do you like the ears better up or down or flapping in the wind like the better Jefferson? What do you want? What do you want? Can I finish? I'm sorry. I went Ross on you. I'm sorry. You threw out the name Perot. I had to. Thank you. All right. So what I really wanted to say was that, yeah, Yang gets the hate for splitting the vote. But if you had ranked choice voting, what that would mean is that Yang could still run, Yang can still do his movement. People could vote for Yang and then vote for the primary Democrat as their second choice. Yang would get knocked out in the first round. All of his votes would go to whoever they chose next, most of which would go to the Democrat, and then it would be like he wasn't there, except that he still got to do his thing. He still got to make his movement, and who knows? Maybe he can build on that to the next election. Maybe that
But people
movement could
won't
grow
look at
with
it that
time.
way. That's all. They won't
Pe-
look at it that way.
people will
They'll
look at it
just
that
people want to hate.
people will look at it that way if you have ranked choice voting and you normalize
No, they
it.
won't. They won't. They
I
won't give
think
a shit about
I
that.
think you're wrong.
Good. Let's try it.
Well, it's hard to try that because no one really wants to give ranked choice voting a chance, and a lot of people do, but a lot of people don't, and that big of a change is hard to get
Because people
through.
don't understand it.
Well, actually, this is something that I particularly asked Dune about, and he explained it to me. And Dune's problem with ranked choice voting is if you have like if you have two left-leaning candidates running and one right-leaning candidate running, they get two choices, but you only get one choice. So,
Well,
like,
he should run.
that was kind of what I said. I'm like, well, then run someone else. Give
Oh,
another
oh
option
no, I
on
was
there.
saying him. He should run.
Right. Well, I didn't say that directly, but that is his point. His point is that the more candidates one side has, the more chances they have. So I think what he was getting at is that gives if you have two on this side and one on that side, then that gives them a little unfair advantage. You get two choices over there. I only get one.
Sparky, I muted myself.
Brian muted himself to his credit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian. I really wanted to get that through that thought, and I
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
But your point is that people are going to be about as dismissive as you were being towards me about my
That's right. I was
crazy
being
hair.
dismissive. Yes.
Right, and that's because you're representing what you're seeing from. Actually, it was. I don't know if that's what you intended, but that's how that actually worked out pretty good, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was perfect
Yeah,
and huge.
the hugest rank choice, the biggest, most
The
beautiful rank
perfect
choice
conversation.
system you have. So I mean there are people that have legitimate reasons to dislike ranked choice voting. I disagree with them and I think they're wrong. But they're allowed to have that opinion and think that I'm wrong, and ultimately it takes a majority of people to put that change in place, which is starting to happen on the state level in some states for certain races. Like Maine has ranked choice voting, but I think they don't have it for the gubernatorial race because there's something in their state's constitution that would need to be amended in order for ranked choice voting to be utilized in the gubernatorial election. So, and I know in Maine you get a lot of third party candidates. You get spoilers in those elections. But you get them on both sides, so I guess that cancels out. Anyways, you can talk now.
I know. I'm not muted.
I'm sorry I yelled at you.
No,
I
that's all right.
get a little that's a topic that it's like, well, that one is frustrating for me, and I try to hold myself to not get angry and worked up. But that one's so frustrating to me because it's in my mind, ranked choice voting solves a lot of our problems, and it's like when people get so dismissive towards it, it's like, dude, like get more people to participate. We should encourage more participation. A two-way race is a loser for everyone. You're picking the lesser of evils. I mean, oftentimes, some people would say no. Some people love their candidate, and that's great too, but not always. So I think any system that encourages thriving and flourishing of third parties is something that's only going to be good for our system. That's just my.
Possibly.
Now, Sparky says, so that is why Johnny wants to move to Maine. No. I like the idea of being off the beaten path. Being kind of in a more remote area. I like the idea of
So therefore, you're going to sell your house.
yeah, and I would buy a house that's much cheaper than this house and bigger. But like actually, what I'm trying to find is I'm trying to find a cheap fixer upper that's close to or on a lake. And actually, sometimes you can find things like that are like under 200,000 and they're on a lake, but they need some work. And I'm like, hey, if it's got walls and the lights turn on and the water runs, I've learned how to run some wires. I've played with some pipes. Basically, that's what I mean. As long as you got a good structure and good bones, I could get some pipes someplace. I can get some wires someplace, and I could turn it into a lifelong project of fixing things up room by room. Likely,
Would you go to well, like your dad has that beach house?
mm,
Would you look there? In other words, you being on the ocean rather than on a lake.
oh, there's no way I could afford Jersey Shore. No, beach houses are. Well, you got to deal with hurricane insurance, and you got to deal with nature and things like that. I mean, I guess that could happen anywhere at any time, but no,
Yeah.
Ocean property is out of my price range, and Jersey's out of my price range. But a nice little remote lake house up in Maine, off the beaten path, that's a bit of a fixer upper. I could see that really working. And I'm at a point now with my job that I only go into the office once a week. And so if a year from now I got this fixed up at a point where I could comfortably put it in the market and not have to deal with fixing more things and maybe just haggle a little, and line something up nice in Maine that's cheaper than this house, and talk to
Would
my.
you get a piece of property with no building on it and get a trailer to put on it?
Um, I don't
I mean, you
know.
have lived in a trailer for at some point.
I'd rather not go back to a trailer. I collect stuff. I want rooms to put this stuff in.
Well, you get a trailer for living in, and then you get sheds or that type of thing for your other stuff.
No, I want my stuff displayed where I live. I buy this stuff to use and to have out. And
Well, okay, so like these guys that collect the vintage computers.
right.
Oh, I was leaning off the screen. Uh, they'll have a shed full of computers and call it a computer museum.
I'd probably try to build a 80s room that has a lot of 80s technology in it and set up
Yeah,
my older computer in there. Maybe I'd build a
yeah,
90s room for some of the other stuff.
yeah.
I'd have to have an antique room for the
That could
old.
be all separate sheds
Well,
or
or I could just,
outbuildings, however you want to call it.
or as a married couple with no kids, as just two of us, I could buy a house with a lot of bedrooms and set up different rooms for different things.
Yeah, if you can find one in your price range.
Yeah, well, I found some things that are fixer uppers. Actually, there's one I'm looking at that
Oh, you
it
are actually actively looking.
well, here, tell you what, I may as well bring this up. Cuz it's not like I'm looking to move on something now, so anything that I've saved is probably not going to be available once I get serious.
Sure,
But
sure.
this one has just got some funny things about it. So this is kind of an idea of the type of thing that I look at and I go, maybe I can make this work. There's a lot of compromises, but then again, if I'm looking for a
Okay,
house,
share screen.
if I'm looking for a house on a lake that's affordable, you're going to have to make some compromises because lake property is pretty desirable. Um,
Yeah.
so let me share a screen here. And see, the thing is this house is on like a little thumb of a lake that is then cut off by a bridge. But I believe you could get under that bridge. So yeah, it's on the water, but it's on this like little like outlet area of water off of the main lake.
Now, if you
So
had a small boat, can you get the boat under the bridge?
I believe so. But as you can see, it's a nice big lake here that's cut off by this road, and so basically, I'd have my own little section of lake here. But as you can see,
So
this.
make an appointment with the realtor and visit it.
Well, I'm not at the point where I'm serious about making offers about things. So, if it's still on the market in a year, and I'm actually at the point where I'm
Oh no,
serious,
I look at it now. There is no commitment to buy anything.
I guess I could, but I'd have to. It's a 5-hour drive.
So it's
Um,
a weekend.
yeah, but as you see, it's got this big garage, which also has like storage space above it. Looks like it was a barn of some sort, and right on the water there.
Yeah.
There's a nice aerial view there, and some more aerial view. I don't know if it comes with those boats, but those boats are there, so there is that. And I will say, I've been watching this house for probably months to a year, and it has not moved. Although, as you can see, it does look like it has some rough things going for it. Um,
Well,
like this,
that's why you need to go see it.
so yeah. I mean, it's in rough shape, but if the foundation is good, and the structure is good, I can run wires, I can run pipe, I can patch holes, I
Yeah.
can paint things.
Yeah.
I mean, this floor looks rough, but maybe some stain would help with that. I don't know if it needs to be sanded and stained or whatever, but even so, it's still a functioning floor. I could move in, I could use it, I could figure out how to make it look pretty
Right.
later. Although it's got this weird like electric thing plugged in here. I don't know what that's all about. I can figure that out and tear that up if I need to. Um,
Is that one of those fake electric fireplaces?
I think so. I think it's a fake electric fireplace with a extension cord plugging it in. So maybe I could just
Yeah.
rip that out and just put that on the curb. Or maybe I'll decide I like it and wire something properly that's hidden.
Right.
I don't
And you
know.
put some of your display pieces on it.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. We'll figure that out. Um, This is one of the two bathrooms. This is the better looking of the two, but the picture is sideways, so you kind of have to do. And
Good
and
plan.
and they strategically hid the unfinished wall, but the mirror betrayed them. So there
I see.
is,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Um, and
Nice
then
touch.
and
Yeah.
this room looks not so bad. I mean, that light fixture could easily be swapped out for something a little more modern looking. It looks like there's
Or maybe you
some
decide to like it.
looks like this door frame needs some work, but otherwise it's got a coat of paint on there that doesn't shout out I need to be redone, and the floor looks pretty good. This looks like I think this house had areas that were lived in and areas that needed to be fixed up that the last people just gave up on at some point. I don't know. The kitchen looks very done at some point. The odd thing is this column. Clearly that was not the original plan for this room, and clearly it would not be easy to remove it or it wouldn't be here.
Yeah,
S-
maybe there was a wall there where we moved it, but they go, oh, that's a load bearing wall, so
so
we
they
need this beam.
so that was probably a compromise at one point in time in this room that but they put a chalkboard on it. So there you go. Place to put your shopping list. Um, there's the big fridge there, and the big sink.
I can't tell from my end. Does it look like all new appliances or newish?
Newish, but not brand newish.
Yeah.
But here's another angle that shows off this load-bearing thing in the middle of the kitchen. That is like, how on earth did anyone ever decide? Yeah, that's okay. Let's build it like that. But that happened, and that's there, and that's one of the compromises. This room looks a bit beat up. Looks like that used to be a ceiling fan. I know how to put ceiling fans in. Looks like that door used to be attached. But, you know, what? New carpet or tear up the carpet and throw in some floor paneling. Maybe that's wallpaper that looks pretty ugly. Maybe rip that off and paint the room. I don't know. But that would be a project at some point to fix that room up. This room looks all right as is, although the floor is a little beat up and the light fixture needs some work. But not a big deal. Now this is the other bathroom that looks absolutely awful, and I think the only thing that could be done for
What? What? I'm sorry. What looks awful? I can't tell that. I can't tell from the.
this bathroom.
What about it? What is it that you don't like? It
Well,
looks perfectly fine.
it looks very dated. This tub is right up against this toilet. It's very small and
Oh,
cramped.
that's tight. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the tub should just be ripped out of here and
What
maybe
would
put a.
you replace it with? A shower?
Well, depending on where this bathroom is, we already have another bathroom that has a newer tub in it. That's probably the functional bathroom, but I don't know if that one's on the first floor or if they're both on the second floor or what. So either we could convert it to a half bath, or if we still want to be a full bath, rip out the tub, throw a shower stall in, which would free up some space next to the toilet to not be as cramped, and maybe find a way to make it look more modern. I don't
Obviously, you'd
know.
have to look at the room and see where the shower would go.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if I take the tub out, the shower might take half of the space at the other end of the tub, if
Yeah.
I can find a stall that fits there. But you know,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. I
that.
mean, so when you're looking at the house, you kind of measure the space. This is where I put the tub and see if you could get the shower stall for that
This
space.
this room is ugly. Need to get that wallpaper off and do something with the. I don't know. Maybe we even. I guess if the carpet looks well enough, carpet clean it, leave it
Well,
that
there's not a
way.
lot of holes in the wall, though.
Yeah, yeah. Although we're only seeing some of the walls, so
Yeah,
they obviously that light fixture needs to be changed for something. This room's got this nice little alcove area here, um,
yeah,
so there's that. Um, and then this is a shit ton of storage space for the stuff I don't have room to display out in the open, or just to
right.
throw the stuff as I work on fixing up the house to display more things. So there is that. and it comes with some stained glass windows that maybe and now this wall looks like it needs a paint job. I don't know if that patching is done and just needs to be painted over, or if there's some more sanding and spackling that needs to be done, or what.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean that's not so bad.
yeah. Although, what's the deal with this ornate-looking window that looks like it's inside? I don't know. And there we go. I wonder if I could take that window out and sell it. Like that's something someone would
The
buy,
stained
correct?
glass.
Yeah. I don't
You don't like
necessarily.
it then?
I don't know. I never really thought much about having a stained glass window in my house. It's a little more ornate than
So
I
what is
go.
the age of the house? Do you know?
Um, see, this is my little secret. I don't want people to know about this. Like, yeah, because you're
Uh
all
huh.
gonna go buy it. It built in 1870.
Wow.
Now, clearly, there's been some work done there. And the other thing is, it's similar to my house. It's oil, and I see no blowers in there. It's basically oil heat with little those
Yeah, I was
radiators
looking at
running.
this
Baseboard
Victorian
heating.
house that was probably about 100 years old, and the kitchen appliances were all from the 60s, 1960s.
Well, that
Yeah,
could be cool if they work.
hey, recently renovated. Yeah, as
And
compared to the age of the house.
and these front-facing roofs are south-facing, so that would be a
Yeah,
nice area to throw some solar panels
yeah.
on that top roof there, and maybe down here. So, although that might, yeah, that would all get the sun. So, yeah, there's that roof surface and that roof surface would be good for some solar panels. And while I'm up there, I could take off that direct TV. Although one thing I gotta check, I'm pretty sure I did already look. I got to make sure that there is good internet options where I live, because if I don't have good internet, I can't keep a job. Um, because this all hinges on me being able to
Oh, yeah.
work remotely
Absolutely.
most of the time.
Yeah.
And if I can get promoted, I can get to a point where I only need to go in twice a month. Now, without the promotion, I'm
Now,
going in
how?
once a
So
week.
from the office, how far is that drive? Is that a 5 hour drive?
Um, Well, I'm not going to bring that up, because even though I'm not going to go on the office will probably show up on a a pin pad thing. Well, you know what? Maybe if I open an incognito window and I go to, I'll just do from city to city, or from town to city. So we'll go from Auburn, Maine to Boston, Massachusetts. And that drive is about 4 hours. So 4 hours once a week is a bit much, but we're talking about the dream house on a lake. And then doing that twice a month is way more maintainable. So yeah, I like get up at you know,
Yeah.
I get up early. I get on the road. Oh, is that actually no? It's more like 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours, depending on the traffic. Right now
Sure.
it's 2 hours 6 minutes, but it's not rush
Well,
hour.
you figure out the time when you would be traveling, right?
Right. And usually I
So you
get
go, okay, I could leave for the office at 5 p.m. the day before, stay at a friend's apartment.
I no. No, I would just get up, get on the road at 7, get in the office sometime after 9. That's probably past the worst of rush hour, and I usually start around 9ish anyways. And no one's like a real stickler for being at your desk on time. So getting in 15 to a half hour late, as long as I make up for that before I go head home, will be perfectly fine. And so yeah, I would just. Although another thing to keep in mind is that, being that I'm in a position of looking to hire a new coworker, I now have seniority to change my hours to the early shift rather than the later shift. So it might be more worthwhile for me to just, get on the road at 5 in the fucking morning and roll in at 7, and then try to get out before the rush hour at like 3, and then get home by 5, and then go to
Yeah.
sleep early that night to make up for. But yeah, I could get up really, because getting up at 5 in the morning, or heck, even getting up at 4:30 in the morning, if you go to sleep early enough the night before, that's totally doable, and that's good time to drive and make some good distance with before anyone else is getting up on the road.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah. Oh, did I? You know what? I didn't change my screen share to the map. But anyways, I told the times. So that
Yeah, no, that's
sorry,
fine.
sorry about that. No, it's not 4 hours one way. It's like 2 to 3 hours depending on rush hour. Which yeah, would be a long commute, but it'd be a once a week. Oh, so let's go catch up on the messages. Um, let's see. Dark stain easy fix wood filler half inch. Let's see. Buy a house as better electric. Johnny, have you looked into what flood insurance costs if you are close to body water? That is, once I get serious, I do need to start looking at that and see where that
Yeah.
fits in. Now,
Yeah.
mind you, that house is way cheaper than this house. So that's going to cut down on the mortgage payment. But I might have to make up for it with the insurance payment. And it may come out even. And if it comes out even and I still want to do that, I mean, that's just a thing to consider.
Right, right. It's
Um,
on the list, as it were. Yeah.
is that body of water totally on the same property as the house? Well, I mean, the property goes to the water. Now, the whole body is not on the property. I just have up that portion. Basically, the house and the backyard are adjacent to a portion of that water. And Sparky also noticed that the toilet had no room. Stand-up shower, exactly. That would be the best solution for that room.
Right.
There could be holes. They covered up with the wallpaper.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when I start pointing out, this is my little secret. Yeah, all 5 people in here are going to buy Johnny's house.
Yeah, that's right, man.
I don't know. I don't think I really sold it that well. Wait, what is minimum bandwidth?
Oh,
Johnny
right now
needs?
it shows 7 people. Well, that would include me as well, twice.
That would, I guess. So, yeah. So that is now. Now the thing is, though, is I don't expect that house to stay on the market for a whole other year. I mean, it's a fixer upper. It's probably a tough sale, but it is also on a lake. So I'm surprised it hasn't moved. Everything I've watched.
Well,
that
you
was a
never know.
possible-
You never know. It's
Yeah.
it's a tough market. Some maybe a lot of people just wouldn't want that. I would go for that.
You would go
Right.
for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The commute would be a little long for me.
Yeah, but it's also a once a week commute that I'm looking to turn into a twice a month commute.
Yeah. Okay, so from that place, what is the nearest city?
Well, that is not far from Lewiston, Maine.
So that's where you get your groceries. Go to Target or Walmart. Go to
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah. Auburn, Lewiston is a city
A
area.
gas station.
So
A place to plug in your electric car.
yeah, it is. Let me. You know what? We could map out the area just to kind of show you. Let me just find the address for that place again, because I lost it. And then I could pull it up on Google Maps so we could actually map it out. All right, so that's 46 Fair Street, Auburn, Maine. All right, let me pull up a Google Map tab, and let me actually share the proper screen this time. All right, I'm just pulling that up, and now we'll. Dude, you got your treats before the show. You don't get 10 o'clock treats on a Monday if you beg for 7:30 treats. Don't keep coming in here staring at me.
Yeah, we're keeping track.
What game you trying to pull here? That ain't how this works. She came in here 7:30. And I'm like, oh, she knows that once I start, I don't stop till 10. And so she wanted to. So I'm like, all right, I'll give you treats, but don't bug me at 10. Oh, it is 10. So this is the normal time she gets treats on a Monday, but she doesn't understand that.
Good cat. She knows.
But she doesn't understand that early treats cancel out those treats. So we're getting ready to wrap up soon. But all right, so here we are on Google Maps where the house is off of this lake here, which has the thumb that's then,
It
broken
looks
up.
like, never mind what it looks like.
But there is a little path here that I suppose you could take a boat through and duck under. So
Yeah.
it's not the most convenient lake house, but it's easy access. There is water that you can sit and enjoy right there,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
off your
yeah. It's
yard.
almost like a private. Although, how many you can see how many buildings are on the lake that are probably other properties, or how many
Well,
other properties that are
actually,
there?
there's a community college on the lake. Um,
Uh-oh. Oh, on the main lake. Not
on the
that's not where
main
you
lake.
are.
Yeah, where I am, it's pretty much well. There's a few other houses up here that are off this part of the lake, so there's
So
some of
you're
that.
sharing that piece of lake.
I am sharing that piece of lake, but I do have my own piece of that lake. Yeah, my own section of
And
property
then and
on that
then
lake.
when you move there, you figure out how many people are living there full time versus using it as a weekend place.
There's actually it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of houses around the main lake. Actually, there's a lot of roads and wooded
Yeah.
areas. Um,
Maybe it's a stanky lake.
I don't, well, I gotta check that out too.
Right.
I don't know. It looks good, and like I said, the last owners they kept boats there,
Yeah, we
so.
took a drive. I forget how. It's like 3 hours, I think, up to Clear Lake. That's kind of north of us.
But basically, right down. I mean, heck, there's actually a shopping center right here, right down the street from where I am, where I could get
Oh, shoot, you can
groceries.
almost walk there.
Yeah, there's the groceries, a Kohl's, a Home Depot. And then as I pan out here, you can see down here is Lewiston and Auburn, which are very happening places. So it's not that far off the beaten path. It's just kind of on the outskirts of a city that give you a bit
Oh,
of a
bottom
quiet
line,
break.
how far is the liquor store?
Well, you could buy beer at the grocery store. Um,
Oh, but a hardcore liquor store though.
that's a man. Where did we buy liquor when I lived in Maine? Oh, you know what? When you live in Maine, you anytime you need to travel out of the state, you stop at the New Hampshire liquor store on your way down or your way back,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
stock up on the tax-free liquor. Now, so basically, I would just need to on my way back from Boston, stop at the liquor store near Portsmouth, off of I-95, uh,
Right,
and pick up big bottles of booze tax-free. So that's probably what I would do. But in a pinch, if I need to get to the liquor store to get something,
right.
that's a good
So,
question.
so property tax wise, which would be better, Maine or New Hampshire?
Um, I th- I don't know, but I think New Hampshire does have high property tax. I mean, you got to pay for things somehow,
Well, I
and they
know,
have no
I
sales
know.
tax, and yeah, so
But Maine has a sales tax and a property tax.
um. Yeah, Maine has sales tax. It's cheaper than let's see. I think Maine was 5% still when I last lived there.
Yeah, I mean that's also worth looking into.
Actually, I think grocery stores sell liquor and beer, if I recall correctly. But generally, we always bought. Yes, they do, because I'm pretty sure I've bought. Yeah, you could buy liquor and beer from the grocery store, but normally we buy liquor from the New Hampshire store, the New Hampshire state liquor store. So yeah, that would be a potential plan. But like I said, there's a lot. I have to actually look at that house. Um, Sparky
Yeah,
Toast.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just look at it. Yeah.
Sparky Toaster writes in, does UPS deliver to this address? Only the biggest, beautiful, hugest packages from the biggest, brownest, beautiful delivery vans. Sparky says it's 5.5. It's gone up since I left. Wow.
Well, that's not huge.
In all the years I left, it's gone up 0.5%.
Yeah.
Dead to me. They're dead to me. No, you can't. That's the thing. Maine is. I think Maine can have high property taxes. Although I believe when I lived there was a big issue because there was a ballot initiative that was on the ballot one year that was a big hot topic for the election to cap property taxes, and I think it was
Yeah.
popular and it went through. So I think there may be a property tax cap, which a lot of people were against because then you got people that buy second or third houses and they buy some McMansion up in Maine that they funnel a bunch of money in, and then you know they should be that they cap the tax to the point where it's ridiculous what they're. But it goes to that
Well,
issue.
that
Should I
depends on
pay?
how they do it. I mean, California capped it with Prop 13, which basically say your property tax is based on when you bought it, and there's a limit on how far it can go from there. The
And
downside, if a person has been in his house for 40 years and it's gone up 10 times its value, he's paying a lot less property tax than the guy that just moved in.
right, so then the new person gets the bill, but people
Right.
can
But
keep their
the other
properties.
side, though, is chances are if you've been in a house for more than 40 years, you're retired and you
Yeah,
can't afford for these taxes to go up. That
I
forces you to sell your house.
right, right. That's why it is good to cap it, and I'm on board with that. Although I do recall there was talk about the California model, and I think generally the thought was, well, look at how well that worked for their education system, that they're having trouble funding. But I think,
Well, you know.
but once again,
But
I
then
don't.
again, all of the people that have
What
kids that are in school, they have newer homes and they're paying the higher property tax.
Let's Google Maine property tax. Let's see. Property tax rates in Maine are well above the U.S. average. The state's average effective property tax is 1.3%, while the national average is currently around 1.07%. The typical
Okay,
Maine
then you
resident.
look at property values. What's the average? What's the median property value?
Heck, the property value for the one I was looking at is less than what I paid for this house, and this house has gone up in value since I've owned it because the things have
I
been
understand that.
right.
You're
So,
you're you're in the midst of gentrification.
well, let's look at what Massachusetts property
You
taxes are.
bastard.
Tax rates are set locally by cities and towns in Massachusetts, with total rates generally ranging from 1% to 2%.
Yeah.
Incorporating all areas, the state's average effective tax rate is 1.17. This is above the national average of 1.07. So basically, these numbers I'm seeing aren't that far off from one another. It looks like Maine could be a little bit more or a little bit less, depending on what Attleboro's but then again, I'm buying a cheaper
Yeah.
house than I currently live in. That's a bigger house, so there are
Well,
advantages there.
yeah. I mean, if you talk about a house value by square foot, uh, I'm presuming that that area of Maine is cheaper.
Basically, the bottom line is going to come down to what is this going to, what's my monthly payment going to be for the mortgage for this and the insurance for this and the taxes for this. And generally, when you work with a realtor, they do bundle. I mean, because like
Absolutely.
my taxes are
Well, in
paid.
fact, that Zillow listing, did that show the tax history?
I could pull that back up and look at that as I get more serious. But I know basically my mortgage payment rolls in my tax payments as
Well,
part of
that's
that
if you
that go
that's
to an escrow account.
if that's if you use an escrow account,
So
which I don't.
they didn't seem to give me an option there on that, and I'm fine with that
That
because
depends on how much you put down. You know what percentage you put down.
that probably has something to do with it.
Yeah.
But the point is that I was from the start working in numbers of what's this going to cost me a month with everything said and done, because does anyone really like the system where you have to figure out the tax and add and layer? It's like you go to the store, it's like, how much does this cost? This much. Oh, I got that much, but then there's tax. Dude, just tell me how much it fucking costs. Does anyone like that system? I
And
I get
and
why they do
and
it.
get rid of the stupid penny.
It's good to be aware of what part of the price is going there, but then they do stupid things anyways. Like, how many times you got in a bill that they have so many extra fees that there's like a fuel surcharge, and it's like, dude, you always have to pay for fuel.
Hey,
Fuel is your card
when
of
you
cost of
pump
business.
gas, when you pump gas, the tax is already included.
Right.
So when you put $20, you give the guy a $20 bill. Done.
I just
Of
swipe my
course, some
card.
places you pay the bill with a credit card and then you find, oh, wait a second, it was $20 and they added a 4 cent surcharge per gallon. Or 4%, they threw on another 4% after that.
Anyways, we should find someone to raid. This has been a show.
Yeah.
Actually, this show wasn't that bad, all
Oh
things
no, not at
considered.
all. Did anybody count any Cheerios?
I think Sparky counted some. So, anyways, let's see who's live right now, and send these people on to something that is
Oh,
hopefully.
Olivia is offline. Sorry.
Oh,
Never
that's
mind.
too bad. Did we miss Olivia? We haven't
We
seen
haven't
her in a
seen her in a
while.
while.
Yeah,
In
yeah, I
fact, she
miss
hasn't
her.
been on that much lately.
Yeah, I hope she's all right. We're gonna have to check in with her one of these days. Well, Pineapple Hoops is live right now.
Yeah.
She's always fun. So now Sparky got up to 346 on the Cheerios. So, anyways,
Good.
yeah. But anyways, this has been another fun-filled edition of
Insert title here.
and we do try to be educational here, and I think we all learned a whole bunch. And so, Brian, what have you learned this week?
I learned that Johnny is a Trumpster.
and I learned that if you try to change it up and give the cats their treats before the show instead of after the show, they will still stalk you for their after show treats that they feel that they are owed, because that's when you normally give them the treats. So,
You know, my cats did not believe in daylight savings time or going back to standard time.
yeah.
Would
Well,
not believe it.
they eventually
I would
adjust.
I would show the cat the clock, and they says, "I don't really care what you're showing me. I don't believe it."
I don't. That is not food. That is some kind of a thing with moving parts. That means nothing to me. Where is my food?
And if I get behind the glass, I would whap at it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Anyways,
Put it on the table so I can knock it off.
and Sparky got up to 346 Cheerios during The Sims, and Sparky learned that Johnny needs to look into flood insurance. I got a lot of steps,
Yeah.
but I got to fix this place up is what I got to do, and I got to tidy
Yeah.
this place up. I got to
Yeah.
get the garbage out of the basement, and I got to get the stuff that I'm keeping in the basement packed in the boxes so I could have things in a state that I could more easily pack things up and get some movers to come pick it up and bring it
So
up
what
there.
kind of person that lives in California doesn't have earthquake insurance?
I don't know. I didn't have earthquake insurance in California, but I rented, so that was not my problem.
I don't.
You don't.
Nope.
So what's your plan for that?
Well, of course, it's freaking expensive.
Do most people not because of the cost and just deal with the
A
risk?
lot of people don't.
Okay.
And hey, if it's bad enough to destroy this house, I'll be dead.
Hmm.
That's my
Maybe.
philosophy.
Well, you have two houses, so you might be in the one that doesn't get destroyed,
That's right.
and then you'll have one house.
That's right.
5-Hit Dude writes in rich wife ...
It's called self-insured.
You're self-insured.
That's correct.
It basically, in order to be completely out of luck, something would have to be big enough that would take out both your houses in one fell swoop, and something that big would probably take you out with one of them.
Yeah, that's when California slips into the ocean.
Right. Sparky Toaster says you can move to Singapore.
That's right.
Yeah.
Even though the tsunami was generated in Indonesia, not far from Singapore, it went the opposite direction. Singapore didn't get touched.
Now, would your wife ever get offered another international gig?
Well, if she wasn't retired.
Oh, she is retired now. I didn't think she was ever going to retire.
Oh, no. She retired. Crap, I don't even remember.
Okay. Well, I know you.
Probably 2018.
I know the plan was for her to retire when you moved back, and then she didn't. So that's when I basically had in my mind, like, oh, she ain't retired.
Well, you know what the excuse was? The excuse for not retiring?
What's that?
She didn't want to retire, and then all of the retirement benefits are going through some foreign country.
Oh, so
because that's what they typically do. So get the job back in the States so that retirement gets,
So
will be local, shall we say, in the country.
so she had to work here for a certain amount of time to get that to come back through here.
Well, just transfer and then
But
then work long enough so then okay, I can quit.
work long and yeah, which was some more years.
Well, I mean, she chose to work another, I think, year and a half. I forget.
Well, you said
She's been
2018.
retired for quite a while. I was guessing. I said maybe 2018, maybe 2017.
Yeah, but you were back for quite a while by then,
Got
right?
back in 2015.
So
So
okay,
probably retired 2017.
okay, so she worked another 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I didn't. I never. Well, we don't keep tabs on your wife here.
Yeah, that's fine.
We only keep tabs
Yeah.
on your Asian wife.
That's right.
That's right. All right, let's go ahead and raid Pineapple Hoops before we lose them all to actually send a decent raid her way.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. We
Thank
got
you, everyone, again.
5 people. Oh, we lost some people. All right. We had 7. Now we have
We
5.
had 7. Now I got 5. But we're
Okay.
going to go ahead.
See you, everybody.
Good night.
You do.
Oh, she's got the hula hoop out.
That is the whole story here.
Yep. All right. Good show.
Oh, we went to a Target
That's right.
last night,
That's right.
and there was a girl walking around the aisles with a hula hoop.
What's going
Nice.
on? Welcome.
All right. Well, I'll catch you later.
Welcome.
All right, have a good one.
Johnny. How's
You
it
too.
going?
Yep.